The Saab 9-3 is a compact executive car produced by the Swedish automaker Saab Automobile. The 9-3 was originally based on the GM 2900 platform and subsequently changed to the GM Epsilon platform. Other vehicles based on the same platforms include the Opel Vectra and Cadillac BLS. Though the current production model of 9-3 is still based on the Epsilon platform, Saab's current owners, National Electric Vehicle Sweden, are developing the newer Phoenix platform, which was conceived post-GM divestiture to debut for the 2015 model year. The 9-3 is currently Saab's only model, offered as a saloon, and will be available in 3 different body styles: saloon, estate and convertible. Overview: the car was badged as 93 starting in the 1999 model year, when they revised the naming strategy of their small car to match that of the larger 95. Saab consistently advertises it as 9-3, pronounced as 93. The Saab 9-3 was launched in 1998 for the 1999 model year essentially as a rebadged second-generation Saab 900, and succeeded by a redesigned 9-3 for the 2003 model year. It is not to be confused with the Saab 93, pronounced 93, which was a car produced by Saab from 1955 to 1960. First generation. The first generation 9-3, a substantially improved Saab 900, was launched in 1998 for the 1999 model year. Saab claimed that 1,100 changes were made, including a revised suspension in an attempt to tighten up the handling characteristics of its predecessor, the Saab 900. It featured slightly sleeker styling with some models sporting a black rear spoiler and removed Saab's trademark centrally mounted snow flap. It was available as a 3- or 5-door hatchback, and as a 2-door convertible. It was the last small Saab to use the company's H engine. Notable improvements over the Saab 900 were improved ride and handling and substantially improved crashworthiness with standard side impact airbags with head protection and active headrests. The Saab 9-3 along with the Saab 9-5 and the Volvo S70 were the first cars in the world to earn the maximum score in a side impact augmented by a pole test based on Euro NCAP testing. The 9-3 continued the Saab safety tradition of performing a moose test. The 9-3 was available with a new variant of the B204 engine, a low-pressure turbo engine based on the B204L used in the last generation Saab 900. For the U.S. market, all 9-3s were turbocharged petrol engines with a full-pressure turbo as the standard offering, and a hot variant in the SE models for the 1999 model year. The 2000 model year saw a revision from Saab's Trionic 5 to Trionic 7 engine management system. The first generation 9-3 was also the first Saab available with a diesel engine, also found in the Opel Vectra, Astra G, Signum, Zafira A. A Saab innovation is the night panel, carried over from the Saab 900, which permits dousing of the instrument panel lighting, except for essential information, for less distraction when night driving. A total of 326,370 first-generation 9-3s were built. Saab Viggen. A high-powered version of the Saab 9-3 was the Viggen. It was named after the Saab 37 Viggen aircraft. Production ended in 2002. It came with a turbocharged 2.3L engine, giving 225 bhp later 230 bhp on 1.4 bar of boost from its Mitsubishi TD04HL 15-5 turbocharger. Acceleration from 0 to Euro 100 km/h could be reached in 6.4 seconds and the top speed is electronically limited to 250 km/h. To provide and handle the high power and performance, the following elements were changed: modified, higher capacity intercooler, higher performance tuned ECU, larger flow-through exhaust system, heavy-duty clutch and pressure plate, stiffened and lowered springs, firmer dampers, stronger cove joints and drive shafts. To enable the front wheels to cope with the amount of torque available, the maximum torque was electronically limited. First gear was limited to 250 Nm, second gear was limited to 330 Nm, third gear and on had the full 350 Nm. In 1999, The Viggen was the first 9-3 to use Saab's Trionic 7 engine management system, which processes 2 million calculations every second analyzing combustion temperature, boost control, variable torque curves and many other critical engine processes. In addition, the 2001 model year introduced a traction control system to the Viggen. In addition to extra power and torque, it also featured a special rear wing requiring relocation of the radio antenna, aerodynamically designed bumpers and side skirts reducing the drag coefficient by 8%, specially bolstered and colored leather seats, black with blue inserts, black with orange inserts, and tan with tan inserts, sportier suspension, bigger wheels, upgraded brakes, and other upgraded parts. The Viggen was only available with a 5-speed manual transmission, CD player, power moonroof, and Viggen-specific motorized and heated leather seats with the Viggen Delta logo embossed in the backrest. These were later also available in the Aero model without the embossed Viggen logo. Some colors featured carbon fiber interior trim from its introduction to the middle of the 2001 model year, when Saab substituted a less expensive printed grey pattern for the dash and standard trim for everything else. New Viggen buyers in the USA were treated to 2 days of advanced driving instruction at Road Atlanta and dined with Saab USA executives from nearby Narcross, Georgia. This program, operated by Saab and Panos, was called Viggen Flight Academy and later transformed into the current Saab Aero Academy. Some motoring journalists were critical of untamed torque steer in low gears. Although the torque steer can be nearly eliminated through the use of a steering rack brace, also called a Viggen rescue kit available through a few aftermarket vendors. Production summary: 4,600 Viggens were manufactured until production ended in June 2002. Of which only 500 units were produced for the UK market. For 1999, 426 three-door Viggens were imported into the US. Of those 420 were blue, 2 were silver, 2 were Monte Carlo yellow, and 2 were black. First-generation 9-3 engines. Other than the diesel engines, all the first-generation engines were versions of the Saab H engine. Other than the Saab 9-5. The first-generation 9-3 was the last to utilize this all-Saab engine design. All versions of this engine feature a DOHC 16-valve design with Saab direct ignition. All turbocharged engines utilize Saab's Trionic engine management system, which works hand-in-hand with the direct ignition's IDM module. The later two technologies were migrated into other GM products during the 10 years that GM controlled Saab. All of the engines, other than the normally aspirated version and the low-pressure turbo, had high specific power outputs. The B205R generated 102.5 horsepower per litre, which exceeds the specific output of the 32-valve V8 engine in an Audi RS4, which generates 100 horsepower L. The B235R from the Viggen generated 252 lb-ft of torque, which is only 10 lb-ft less than an E46 BMW M3. Saab's ECO power philosophy incorporates high power and torque output when it is needed, while also delivering good fuel economy and low emissions. Notes: the primary difference between the B204L and the B204R is with the intercooler and the wastegate base boost setting. Turbochargers used: B204E, B204L and B204R, Garrett T25. B205E and B205L, Garrett T17. B205R and B235R, MHITD 04HL15T with 5 ACMAS² exhaust port. Second generation: the second-generation model was launched at the North American International Auto Show in early 2002 for the 2003 model year. The new 9-3, like most Saabs, remained a front-wheel drive car. The most drastic change from the former generation was the elimination of the hatchback design. The second-generation 9-3 is available as a 4-door saloon, an estate, and a 2-door convertible. It includes a number of safety features, including innovations such as Saab active head restraints to reduce whiplash and reax, a passive rear-wheel steering design and passive toe-in to help reduce understeer under heavy braking. the new 9-3 departed from the ECO power engine used previously for a new 2.0 L inline 4 engine family 2 Ecotic engine from General Motors for the petrol-powered models. There are 3 different versions of the turbocharged inline 4, with the amount of turbo boost determining the power output. The 150 HP version was standard in the non-US market linear form. The 175 horsepower version was standard in US market linear or non-US market vector form, mated with a 5-speed manual transmission or a 5-speed Centronic, which is a traditional automatic, not to be confused with Saab's earlier Sensonic, which was a manual transmission which allowed for shifting without a clutch pedal. The 210 horsepower 2.0T was available in both the ARC and Vector forms, and the automatic transmission was available, though in the Vector, paddle shifters mounted on the steering wheel were added. In 2003 ARCs and Vectors, the manual transmission was a 6-speed. The 9-3 and the Opel Vectra were the first of the global GM Epsilon platform, which was then lengthened to accommodate 4 new cousins, the Chevrolet Malibu Murch, the Pontiac G6, and the Saturn Aura. A proprietary fiber-optic electronics system, the possibility of AWD, and reacts as described above, are just a few of the features exclusive to the 9-3. On February 22, 2012, the final 47 Saabs were built. They were all 9-3 Independence Edition convertible models built by one of Sweden's largest car dealers, ANA, in Troller Currency TTAN. There were 21 LHD cars and 26 RHD1s. The final Saab was a Saab 9-3 Aero Independence Edition Ttid convertible. 2004. Supposedly due to a request from Vector Aeromotive, the Vector form was replaced with the Aero in the USA. In addition, the ARC received the 5-speed manual in place of the 6-speed. 2005, United States versions were sold with 16-inch wheels standard, unlike the 15-inch wheels which were previously found in the linear version. In the United States, but not in most countries, the 2005 was the last year of the linear and ARC versions. In addition, the 6-speed manual was dropped and both the ARC and Aero received the 5-speed manual. 2006, a special 20 years edition Aero convertible for the American market was unveiled at the Los Angeles Auto Show in January 2006 to celebrate 20 years since the introduction of the Saab 900 convertible. For 2006, the 2 optional engines were a 2.0-liter turbo 4-cylinder and a new 2.8-liter turbo 6-cylinder. The 4-cylinder option had 12.3 psi maximum turbo boost pressure and turned out 210 HP, while the 6-cylinder had 8.7 psi boost and turned out 250 HP. The 2.0-liter 16-valve turbo 4-cylinder model was marketed in the United States as the 2.0T, replacing the linear and ARC models sold until the 2005 model year. The United States 2.0T version was similar to the 2005 ARC except for US linear wheels were used. The linear and ARC versions continued to be sold in most other countries. 2007. The dashboard was completely revamped for 2007, with the Saab information display moved from its high-mounted position to the main instrument binnacle, and a return to the look of the classic Saab 900 dash. The button-heavy climate control system disappeared, replaced by the Saab 9-5 climate control system. OnStar was reintroduced and required when NAV was ordered in North America, and the corporate GM head unit debuted, which allowed for satellite radio and MP3 CD capability. While the 2008 model is touted as all new, the majority of underskin enhancements occurred for the 2007 model year. The suspension went from borderline harsh to firm, and the cabin was quietened considerably. Steel grey was also replaced with Titan grey as an exterior color choice. In the US market, only the 210 HP 2.0-liter 16-valve turbo engine and the 250 HP 2.8-liter V6 turbo were available. The manual transmission in the 2.0 model was changed from a 5-speed to a 6-speed. 2008 facelift. Saab claims over 2,000 changes were made to model year 2008 cars. The 2008 range, first presented at the Saab Festival in Ttid, Sweden, included new frontal styling inspired by the Saab Aero X and Saab 9-2X, Saab's first use of LED signature lighting in the revised headlamps, new door panels, a new clamshell bonnet, new rear bumper, and frosted ice block rear lamps. Black replaced charcoal grey as an interior color choice. Snow silver became a new exterior color. The 2.8T V6 powering the Aero models received a mild output boost from 250 horsepower to 255 horsepower. Some additional exterior modifications are available on the limited edition XWD 280 horsepower 9-3 Turbo X, presented at the Frankfurt Motor Show. The Turbo X made its North American debut at the New England Auto Show in late November. Saab also released an all-wheel drive version of the Aero, with the system dubbed XWD, in March 2008. 2009. The 2009 9-3 series expands the trim levels while dropping the limited edition Turbo X Saloon and Estate from the lineup. The 2.0T and Aero Saloon and Estate models are now available with Saab's all-wheel drive, XWD. The convertible range continues to lack the all-wheel drive option because of limited underbody space for the necessary componentry due to added structural bracing to compensate for the rigidity lost when eliminating the hard roof from the design of a car. The new Saab 9-3 is virtually unchanged from the 2008 model, which underwent subtle design and performance enhancements. During 2009 the 9-3X was launched at the Geneva Auto Show. The 9-3X is a four-wheel drive XUV version of the 9-3 Sport Wagon, 2010. For 2010, the Saab 9-3 Aero's turbocharged V6 was eliminated. All models used the 2.0-litre turbo 4. 2011 Euro 2012. The 9-3 received some revisions in 2011 for the 2012 model year. Changes were in the engine range with an overall reduction in diesel and petrol engine fuel consumption of 12% and 7% respectively. In addition there were, expanded all-wheel drive choice, new entry-level 163 HP, 2.0-litre gasoline/biopower engine added for 9-3 Saloon, Estate and 9-3X models with Saab XWD. Updated identity, new rear badging in line with all new Saab 9-5 Saloon. New, ice block style headlights, new bumper design, minor cabin makeover with new titanium metallic effect trim around instrument panel, gear shift, doors and glove box. Aero gets graphite fiber effect. In most markets, car will be badged Griffin. Return of Saab Classic, 3-spoke alloy wheel. This 16-inch design is part of an expanded 16 to 18-inch wheel choice. A limited edition Independence Edition convertible was released with a total of 366 units to commemorate the first anniversary of the sale to Spiker Cars. MY14. National Electric Vehicle Sweden restarted production of the Saab 9-3 Aero sedan MY14 on December 2, 2013 in Saab's former Troller Currency Ttid assembly plant. The only exterior difference on the MY14 model is the lack of the Griffin badge, to which NEVS does not own the rights. The Griffin is replaced with a badge displaying the Saab logotype. Another visible change is the new and safer seats. The 9-3 Aero MY14 features a 220 horsepower 2.0-litre direct-injected twin-scroll turbocharged engine and went on sale in Sweden on December 10. The first cars will be delivered in spring 2014 as a limited edition model. The 9-3 no longer meets the latest Euro NCAP tests regarding pedestrian safety, so only 1,000 cars of each body model can be sold in Europe, as a low-volume manufacturer. The only other markets initially is China. An electric version will be launched in spring 2014 in the Chinese market. The updated 9-3 have been tested favorably by motoring magazines. Bye-bye Le Currency Gear wrote that it feels modern. It feels sporty yet comfortable. Second-generation engines, note, diesel engines are not available in North America. Starting from late 2004 diesel engines are Fiat-sourced common rail units. Saab Turbo X, Saab Turbo X debuted at the 2007 Frankfurt Auto Show. It was made to celebrate Saab's 30 years of turbocharging. All Turbo X were offered in metallic jet black with matte grey trim. The Turbo X is Saab's first production car with the XWD all-wheel drive system from Holdex Traction and ELSD. It is powered by a 2.8-litre V6 producing 280 FPS mated to a 6-speed manual or automatic gearbox. It also has larger brakes as well as stiffer springs and shocks. The dash, shift lever and door panels have carbon fiber look, and the turbo boost gauge draws its inspiration from the Saab 900. Saab 9-3 Power. The Saab 9-3 Power electric car was unveiled at the 2010 Paris Auto Show and became Saab's first electric vehicle. The e-Power concept car is based on the 9-3 Sport Wagon, has a 35.5 kWh lithium-ion battery pack, a top speed of 150 km per hour, and an estimated driving range of 200 km. Saab had scheduled to run a 2-year trial with 70 e-Power demonstrators in Sweden by late 2011. The new owner of the Saab estate, National Electric Vehicle Sweden, initially stated that they intended to start producing the all-electric 9-3 e-Power to be launched in China by late 2013 or early 2014. The production version is slated to be unveiled at the 2014 Frankfurt Motor Show, and the market launch is scheduled for 2015. In April 2014, NEV began production of a batch of 200 units to be tested in Qingdao, China by mid-2014. After the test, sales are scheduled to begin in Sweden in 2015. Third generation. In February 2011, Saab's owners announced that a new version of the 9-3 would be launched in 2012 as a 2013 model based on the Saab Phoenix platform employed in the Saab Phoenix concept car. Designed by Jason Castriota, the car was planned to be available as a combi coupe copyright/hatchback, convertible and crossover. The car was also to feature the new Saab Icon infotainment system as standard. Due to Saab's bankruptcy and the marque's subsequent sale, the planned third-generation 9-3 has been put on hold. The new owner of the Saab estate, National Electric Vehicle Sweden, have stated that they intend to start producing an all-electric 9-3 e-Power from 2013, although initial reports seem to indicate that this vehicle will be based on the second-generation 9-3, rather than the Phoenix platform and Jason Castriota pen designs originally planned for production. Manufacture of the Saab 9-3 resumed on December 2, 2013, with sales scheduled to resume on December 10, 2013. An electric version, based on the 9-3 platform, was planned for 2014. Awards and achievements: 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008 and 2009, Top Safety Pick Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, 2006, Awards 10 Best Engines 2.8L V6 Turbo, 2004, Best Pick Inside Impact Crash Tests, Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. The sports sedan repeats the best pick rating from last year's IIHS frontal offset crash test and is now the first car with standard safety equipment to receive a double best pick honor. Received highest rating, good in the IIHS and Thatcham studies into the safety of car seats and head restraints, Insurance Institute for Highway Safety USA, Thatcham, Great Britain. Awarded Compact Executive Car of the Year, Auto Trader, Great Britain. Voted Top Small Executive Car, Top Gear Magazine's New Car Buyer's Guide, Great Britain. Awarded one of 10 Best Cars of the Year, Hong Kong Car and Driver, Hong Kong. Awarded Best European Intermediate Middle Sedan, Car Plus Award, Hong Kong. Recommended by U.S. Consumer Reports Magazine, USA. Awarded Maximum 5-star rating in Euro NCAP Collision Test, Saab 9-3 Convertible, Euro NCAP, named UK's most secure open-top car, British Insurance Car Security Awards, Great Britain, prestigious Sporting Open-Top Award, the Institute of Vehicle Engineers, Great Britain. 2002, awarded maximum 5-star rating in Euro NCAP Collision Test, Saab 9-3 Sports Sedan, Euro NCAP, Best Family Sedan, Saab 9-3 Sports Sedan, PBS's Motor Week Television, USA, Prestige Car of the Year, Saab 9-3 Sports Sedan, Brisbane Courier Mail, Australia, Best Buy, Saab 9-3 Sports Sedan, Expressen, Sweden, Best New Car, Saab 9-3 Arc Sports Sedan, Kiplinger's Personal Finance Magazine, USA, 1999, among the top 10 cars of 1999. Fortune Magazine, USA, 1998, one of the top 10 cars Euro. Fortune Magazine, USA, among top 10 family cars Euro. Consumers Review, USA, see also, Saab 9-5, Notes. External links.